Welcome back to the HVAC Accelerated Success Program. My name is Ben Middleton, and I am the National Sales Training Manager for both the Goodman and the Amana brands. There are many types of aircraft, each designed with specific tasks in mind. Some planes are designed for recreation, some for freight, transportation, commuting, and some are designed for war. What is your business designed for? Is it commercial, residential, replacement, new construction, industrial, a combination of all? Every HVAC business is unique. The better you can define the purpose of your business, the better you can configure your business for success. How high do you want your business to soar? How fast do you want your business to fly? Is your business carrying a heavy load, or is it light and agile? How much drag does your business need to overcome? Once you have established the type of business that you want to fly, next you have to determine how you will fly the aircraft and who you are. Many aircraft proudly display artwork, which further conveys something about the crew or the experience you can expect from both the aircraft and the crew operating this particular vehicle. In this segment, we'll begin to uncover the goals of each business and craft a unique mission and vision statement for each company. We will introduce those key differentiators that sets each of these businesses apart from their competition. We will also identify the bare minimum expectations that must be met in every single marketplace to be considered an option.
Goodman uses my services to help companies like yours, men like you, really help make sure that the company brand story, from your website content to your social media feeds to the kitchen table conversations, really stands out in the marketplace. You know, it's nice to have a great website. It's fantastic to have good CSR. It's important to have pricing. Everybody plays an important role. And the role that I play is to help you distinguish your company against the competition. So if you are sitting at a kitchen table and somebody's asking, why should I spend more money with you or less money with somebody else? You know, the role of your brand is to communicate the values that you stand for and to help you distinguish yourself out there. So that's part of the role that I play. I also do a lot with consumer experience models, right? What is your company doing from a process standpoint? Again, that is unique and sort of, you know, baked into your branding piece here. So as it correlates to the folks you've worked with already, CI Web is getting ready to launch your site. You'll see my thumbprint on this in the sense that, you know, if you want, I can edit and kind of ghost write a lot of the content that goes on your site. I've been on it. I've talked to Jennifer about it. You know, and is it really sending the message that you want your clients to see? You know, is it unique? Do they read it and say, wow, this isn't your run-of-the-mill HVAC company? It doesn't look like it. So that's kind of where I fit into this whole thing. So let's just kind of step back a little bit and talk about Centrair. You guys are in Minnesota.
Yep. We're in Minnesota. We've been around since 1967. We're a union mechanical contractor. You know, we're unique in a sense where we do both commercial and residential. Still a much bigger part of the company is the commercial. So, yeah. And we don't want to lose focus of that. I'm telling everybody that, you know, we want to keep that. But we see a market in the residential where we're not monopolizing on it or taking advantage of opportunities.
Are you union on both sides of the shop?
We are union, yes. So
is the union
for all commercial, residential, plumbers, service is all union.
Yeah. That's really cool. You don't see a lot of that. I'm not in Washington State, and it feels like the unions have been in a steady decline since the 80s. I don't know, other than like commercial. I mean, like literally, I don't think I know of a residential shop that's union. You just don't see it. That's pretty neat. Why have you guys stuck with it for so long?
Costs too much to get out of it.
Costs too much to get out of it.
Is that right?
Once you sign up with a union, I mean, not to go line, but there's a lot of unfunded liabilities. So to get out is way too costly. They pretty much, once they get you, you're locked in.
Mm-hmm. Do you use that? Do you use your affiliation as a way to distinguish yourself? Is it something do you feel like it's something that you're proud of, or do you think like it's something that you're stuck with?
To be honest, it's something that we're stuck with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Yeah. Yep, I would agree with that.
So, way back in 1967, when the company started, who founded it?
John Kepke founded it way back.
Is he still with us?
No.
He's not dead.
He's still alive.
Yeah, but
he's still alive, but no, he lives way up north, and no, he's not with the company.
When did you guys get involved?
I bought in about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
The opportunity came up, and then Tom I don't know, Tom, when did you get involved? Tom was probably involved 10, 12 years ago on the ownership side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you were here a few years previous to that. So Tom's probably been here about 15 years, 20 years. Overall, I've been here probably 5 or 6.
Okay.
I don't know, time flies when you're having fun.
Why did you decide to buy into it?
Pressure,
yeah. I lost a bet. No, I came over here as a PM, and it's just kind of, I've owned companies in the past, and I'm familiar with that side of it. And Tom, was the existing owner with Lee. Lee's been an owner for 50 some years. Tom and I kind of hit it off with a lot of the same philosophies. And the opportunity kind of came about. Lee had something in his family happen, and the opportunity came, and jumped back into the ownership side.
That it's a big journey. I mean, owning a company, I own mine. You two own yours. One of the things that I sent you yesterday was just a really basic questionnaire. But when it comes to like really telling the right story for Centrair, it's got a cool name, right? It's got a pedigree. It's been around for a long time, which we all know that takes a ton of work and sacrifice. When you guys head off into the market right now, the question that I asked you yesterday was, what 5 words would you like to be known for?
So I came up with mine that I would like to be known for, and the 5 I came up with is quality, professional. I didn't quite know it, but outgoing. And what I meant by outgoing was just kind of going the extra mile for that customer, whether it's just making sure taken care of from cradle to grave, I guess, kind of thing, is for lack of better terms. And then quick response and caring. Those are my 5.
I have a handful, but some of mine are similar or crossover a little bit. I had ethical, quality, cleanliness, experienced, responsive, and integrity.
Can we talk about the word experience for a second?
Sure.
What do you mean by that?
There's just a lot of, between Kenny and I and Lee, one of the previous owners, and he was the second employee at Centrair, so he's been here since 1971. Between, all the PMs here, the experience that we have compiled is, rivals most companies in the Twin Cities.
I think Tom and I figured it out, when Lee was a small partner with us, I mean, between the ownership group, me, Tom, and Lee, we probably have 120 years of experience, putting us all together. So,
yeah.
And to me, that's important, because this industry, there's a lot of different stuff out there, and it's always changing. We do work all over Minneapolis, St. Paul. So we're a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we do work, 7-county metro area. So that's a probably 30, 40-mile radius of the cities. Population of the cities, I don't know. We're in a affluent city. Edina is a city. I think the median household income is, it's 120,000, I think.
Okay.
So it's a decent, it's not on the lower end of the scale. It's a mid to upper end. So.
Yeah. Although I've worked with commercial organizations, my area of expertise really is on the residential side. Who is your ideal residential customer? What do they look like?
You mean our ideal if we had to pick one, or our current customer?
No. Who's your target customer?
Pick one?
Yep.
One with money who wants to spend it. God, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Let's put it this way. I think that if I'm Nike and I want to make a basketball shoe for Kevin Durant, my target customer is somebody with enough disposable income to drop $200 in a pair of shoes, somebody who's probably a real fanatic because they're going to buy somebody else's shoe. I think at that level, they could be collectors, they could be sneakerheads, right? Could be people that, and the reason I ask is because, when you tell a story about a brand or what a company stands for, what happens automatically is that you begin to set some standards, right? Because I could just as soon say, who are the customers that you want to avoid? And you'd probably be able to come up with a list like that fast. People that kick the tires, people that shop us against everybody in town, people that don't pay their bills, people with no credit. The process of figuring out who your ideal customer is then leads to a question about the values and the things that they're looking for in a company and why they pick an organization like yours. So you may say also, for example, go ahead.
Suppose now that you say that, to me, my ideal customer is one that cares about his mechanical system and the indoor air quality of his house.
That's what I'm talking
about. Not the numbers guy. I want the guy that he doesn't need to know everything about the mechanical system, but he cares about the air quality in his house, his energy bills. To me, that's the ideal customer.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
that's a great answer. That's a great answer. And
I just Googled it. It came up. It's good. But no, that to me is if I'm out selling residential, that's the customer I want.
Yep. I get it. And it's so funny how once you just even apply a little lens like that to your business, they care about quality, they care about air quality, they care about energy bills. You may say, those aren't particularly unique in the HVAC industry. But if you go to your current website, or if you look at most of the ways that HVAC companies brand and market themselves, they're so generic, right? It's like you can't be awesome at everything because then you're awesome at nothing. If everything is important, nothing's important. You got to have some focus to how you want the market to perceive what you stand for. Are you guys doing anything in the community these days? Do you guys do anything philanthropic?
Every day in business, we give stuff away.
Every
Does that count?
Does it do?
Yeah, every time we, does that count? Because that's what we do.
It should.
People ask me that if I'm philanthropy. I am. I'm in business. I give it all away.
Amen.
No, I don't. No. Besides, no, I don't. Tom probably does. I don't know what he does with philanthropy. Do you do anything, Tom? Nope, he doesn't either.
What types of training do you guys do with your people?
So through the union training, that's all done.
Yeah.
That's one thing that to me is good, bad, or otherwise. It's part of the brand, I think, is union guys are trained to the fullest extent of everything out there.
Right.
Their schooling is top of the line. So So then as far as continuing that, there really isn't much. I mean, at any given time, they can go back to a union school and brush up on whatever they want. But their initial apprenticeship, they're trained to the best they can get.
Would you?
Now, whether they retain it is a different story. But
Yeah, right. They have to keep going back. Do you want your site to talk about the union, or would you prefer to downplay it?
I'd prefer to downplay it. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean,
I think it would turn some people off initially.
Yeah.
Unfamiliar with us because they might right out of the chute think we're more expensive than someone else.
That was my thought as well. Okay, cool. How many people work for you?
I think we're 45 now, something like that, between office and field.
Only 20 of them.
You said only 20 of them work.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So see, we're back to our philanthropy thing again. Yeah, we pay guys.
Give away paychecks.
Yeah, we give them checks every week for not doing anything.
The products that you carry, are you exclusively carrying Amana, or do you carry other brands?
We're 90% Amana. Goodman is an entry-level line we'll use, but Amana's Amana's the line we 90% push.
Oh, it's a great product. Do you sell a lot of high-efficiency stuff?
We do. Most all of our stuff is, 90 plus efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our stuff's 94 to 90, well, it's about the 94% with the ECM motor.
It's nice. Good, that's great equipment. Are there any services or products that you guys provide that you would consider very specialized or unique?
On the residential side, well, yeah, you're talking mainly the residential side, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose our ability kind of ties back to the knowledge of our guys and the leadership, but the ability to come into a house and truly find out why that basement is all musty smelling, instead of just, selling a furnace and air.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we could do a dehumidifier, we could do this. I don't know, our ability to think out of the box on stuff, kind of, and to me, I think that indoor air quality is huge.
I agree with you.
Whether it's a niche or not, I don't think so, but
I think it's kind of both, man. I mean, in my opinion, and we've both been around, it's like the industry has talked about it for a very long time, but I don't know a single company that has really owned that, and can say we are like we've built our business around air quality. Like I can't think of a single company that I've ever worked with that says it's so important and we want to have it as such a dominant aspect. We've built everything around it. So yeah, I mean, I think it can qualify as a niche if it's written the right way. Tell me about the name. The name is very distinct.
Name was kind of a cool name back. In the late 60s, actually, Train would pay companies to get started, to be train dealers.
That's right.
So I think John Kepke was an engineer, and he wanted to go off on his own. So he teamed up with Train. Train funded him to get started. So it's kind of, the name was Central Train. So Centrair is just kind of what stemmed from there. That was a story that I heard, and at our 50th anniversary, we had John down, and he because I never heard that story, so.
Do you have any old pictures of the building back in the day?
We do have some old pictures. Yeah, John brought down some old pictures, some of our first trucks. Yeah, there's a couple of pictures of the trucks in there, and so.
Do you have them in like a digital format?
Not in a digital format, but I mean, you could scan them in, and
Will you kindly scan those in for me?
Sure.
Those are very inspiring. Why do you think people decide to work with you guys?
I think because of our longevity is still important in people's eyes. Because I do hear that on the service side. They're like, oh yeah, you guys have been around forever. We hear that forever. You've been around forever. Or I've seen your trucks forever.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just kind of, we've been around. We've withstood the test of time, and, you know, we continue to get tested, but.
And then the responsiveness. And
Yeah.
they needed something and we ran out.
Okay.
Did you hear Tom on that?
Yeah,
The quick responsiveness? Okay.
Okay. Cool, guys. This may be enough for me to get started. How you want Top Tech to be perceived and how you want to message the company's value to your customers, right? Kind of your mission, vision, value. So would you mind sharing that?
I'm taking my business, and I really think that if the wheel's not broken, don't fix it, right? Is the biggest thing I've learned. And the motto and the vision of what I read from a man that's way more successful than I've been was Ron Smith. And I was led by David, and, you know, is to get and keep customers. That is our goal. We want to get and keep customers and to make them more than satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And he stated that that was what he put on all of his banners and all of his ads, is to get and keep customers. And I thought that was interesting that that would be something that you would say to customers.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get and keep you. But it was obviously effective.
Mm-hmm.
My slogan's always been top quality service.
Yeah.
It's very, very cliche to me. You know, the vision for Top Tech Mechanical has changed significantly since I spoke to you last. It's a whole different mindset than it was before. The vision for Top Tech Mechanical is to create a infinity sign between your customer, the coworker, and the company, and it needs to revolve just like this. Okay, it needs to be an ever-ending communication system that everyone is in the mood, man. Everybody's got it, right?
That's really cool.
So that's kind of where my mind has gone from the books I've read, the experiences I've gone through, of the ups and downs of business. Top quality service doesn't say a whole lot anymore. And what I'm trying to do with this business is I want to create a company to where my employees are very happy, which I'm trying not to call people employees. My coworkers are happy. I'm happy. And the customers are happy. And that's my vision. And that's all that matters to me. I mean, I want to be 1% better than the competition at all times. Always going to have to be better. And I definitely don't ever want to be 1% worse, let alone 20%.
Well, yeah, you want full circle satisfaction.
Yeah. And
Can we stop here for a second? Can we pause here for a minute, Kevin? Because I'm resonating a lot with what you're saying from an internal brand standpoint, I love the idea of this infinity arrangement that you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for you, how many people work for you right now?
Right now, about 6. Yeah,
six people. And I would imagine that some of them have been with you from the very beginning, or close to it.
Yeah. Well, my wife, number one.
Yeah. Me too. I absolutely right. That's your first business partner tends to be your spouse in lots of cases. But
I started the company 9 years ago, so I'm 9 years into this, and I haven't been able to grow because I didn't have the right things in place. But
sure.
You know, I've got a couple of guys that have been with me in over a year. They're happy. They're excited to see where we're going. The Goodman program has been so awesome. They love it. They love to see the changes in me and our operations and the things that we're doing. And it's an exciting time.
Do you know who Doug Conant is?
I do not.
So I'll send you a link to this guy's book, Doug Conant. You're making me think of two things here, Doug Conant and Tony Hsieh. Doug Conant was the CEO for 9 years at Campbell Soup. And he took over Campbell Soup at a time when the culture was so toxic and the public opinion about the company was so bad, and the stock price was crumbling apart. And they brought Conan in to try and turn the company around, right? This is, pretty pre-internet, so to speak. And it's a global company. What he did and what he built his legacy on is two things. One, he went in front of his leadership staff and said, this is going to be a high performance culture. And if you're here to get a paycheck and that's it, then there's the door. And he ended up actually firing probably 3/4 of his leadership team and replacing him, right? Then he got a step counter, like an old school step counter, and he put it on his belt. And he declared to his company that he was going to walk 10,000 steps a day, right, in front of the employees. He was going to be in the warehouses, in the offices, in the headquarters. He wasn't going to be an invisible leader. He was going to be part of these people's lives. And he did that. He did that every day for 9 years. That guy, every single day, he honored that commitment. But what made him a legend was that he also committed to writing at least 5 handwritten thank you cards to customers and employees every day. And in the course of his tenure, the man wrote 30,000 thank you cards. I mean, it was legendary, right? I mean, we got businesses like yours and mine that, hell, we don't write thank you cards to the people that pay our bills every day, right? We take them for granted. Say, well, how do we got sales guys on the career, like Brad, that, hell, man, you got guys that do a ton for you. We walk over gratitude every single day. We walk over gratitude at unknowingly, because we're not aware of the impact it's got. We walk right past it. But that becomes our brand, right? That became Doug's brand. Doug became branded as the thank you card leader, right? And he wrote a book about it. It's a great book. He turned that whole culture from toxic to absolutely like one of the best places to work in the country in 9 years, by being in front of people, by letting his employees know that he valued them, by writing cards to people. And it's an incredible story. But because this act of creating customers is one that doesn't happen in isolation, right? I mean, it's an act of co-creation. If Top Tech's brand is one in which our mission is to create and keep customers, which is a great brand, it's a great phrase. And Homie took it from Peter Drucker, like the original godfather of business, said the purpose of business is to create and keep customers in 1940. It's been around for so long, we just forget it. We think that the purpose of business is to what? Make a buck, get some vacation. No, it's to enrich people's lives, right? It's to help people.
That's true.
It is true. And I mean, because if you don't have that at the center of your brand message, you got nothing. You have just a company that will exist, but doesn't have any legs or longevity to it, because customers know if you care or don't care. They know if you're transactional or if you're in it for the long term. They know that. So I love this idea of the infinity loop, because ultimately, what you give out to people comes back in the form of new business, in the form of retention, in the form of culture and morale, committed team members that are going to go to war with you every day. This conversation about building the brands for businesses and Top Tech and what you're talking about is not a one and done conversation, right? You don't ever really get it on lockdown, because it's going to evolve, right? It's going to evolve. If you look at the evolution of the Apple brand or the Nike brand or any of these companies, it always knows what it stands for, but you can always see how it's kind of reflecting the times around it. And sometimes those can be really controversial, such as the Colin Kaepernick ad when that broke down and people lost their minds. Many people did, although Nike ended up selling a whole lot more shoes. It can be the evolution of, a tech brand, as we see Tesla right now is starting to promote its very clear interest in our industry. I mean, imagine having a Tesla air conditioner. Mm-hmm. That is going to be life altering, right? I mean, for us, but we have to anticipate it, because that's a company that's already got huge brand momentum, right? And an iconic leader. If they get serious about our industry, they're going to force us to completely reassess our market strategy, because those guys know how to sell. They're going to charge $50,000 for a Tesla air conditioner. They're going to be sold out in minutes. And they're not, right? And they're not going to do anything but have a direct to consumer sales model. You're a homeowner, you want to buy a Tesla AC, it's going to show up, it's going to look awesome, it's going to be quiet, it's going to be hella expensive. You're going to tell everybody about it. And everybody else that's been sitting around going, man, maybe we should get serious about customer service and marketing and client retention, is going to get hosed, right? Because that is a company. It's like if Apple sold air conditioning. If Apple sold air conditioning, it'd be sold out in minutes. There'd be a line around the block to get it, and they charge $75,000, no questions asked. And you just finance it, right? There wouldn't be an alternative, just like you finance your dang phone. So as you think about kind of the direction that you want your company to go, I think we also have to be really aware too that positioning Top Tech as an infinity loop with an eye on the future. Where do I need to be in a couple of years when I'm competing against Tesla? Where do I need to be in a couple of years when artificial intelligence means that I'm going to be having real live conversations with computers that are going to be just as good as the ones I'm having with humans when it comes to what should I put in my house? There's a lot of things that are nascent right now that are going to change the way you go to market. It's going to change the way we all do business.
I agree. And that's going to raise the bar, right? Like everybody else is going to have to compete.
Kevin, for you, the idea that of what we stand for is creating and keeping customers is fantastic. And the opportunity to grow the brand is to ask yourself from a positioning standpoint, right? When my team interacts with customers, what are we doing to keep the conversation going, right? How are we ensuring that we're maintaining this conversation with our clients? Is that through, value-added services? Is that through social broadcasting? Is it through something as simple as just monthly reach outs and promotions? What are we doing to continue the conversation with people so that that relationship doesn't wither, and so that they don't become, poached essentially by these other companies that are fantastic marketing organizations? I think that, at the same time, preserving what we've talked about, which is like, let's identify what makes you truly unique. How can we make the invisible visible among our customers? And I think that's the most important thing for you guys to be talking about when you talk about your marketing strategies, your branding strategies, your online strategies. How can we continue to make the invisible visible? How can we continue to identify things that we do that we don't talk about enough? We don't have to completely reinvent the wheel. Kevin, for you, here's the challenge. Make the invisible visible. Challenge number one. What are we doing inside Top Tech that is really in the best interest of customers, that we don't celebrate enough, that we don't talk about enough? Making the invisible visible is a huge piece of you growing your brand among your customers. I've never met a contractor who doesn't do something really well that doesn't ever get talked about, that doesn't ever, get communicated effectively.
So the blind spot that we have from us communicating to our customers, that we don't see how we appreciate the customer.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So customer appreciation blind spots.
But also the full circle satisfaction that you're looking for. You're a coworker amongst all your coworkers, trying to get them, to love coming to work, happy and enjoying it. And the consumer needs to know that as well. They want to buy from people who have good cultures.
Yes, they need to be happy. If our techs are miserable, they're like, I don't want these guys in my house.
Correct.
So here's intellectual challenge number two. This would be a Brad and Kevin assignment if you guys want to take this on together. I don't know if you can use your P card for this or not. I would encourage the two of you to read Delivering Happiness together. It's not a new book, right? Zappos isn't a new company, but the journey that Tony Hsieh went through as a young startup guy, from making a fortune to almost losing it all, to then making an even greater fortune, not because he's an MBA or a computer scientist or anything like that, but because he had a realization that happy people want to make other people happy, and
Discovering happiness.
That's why their boxes say delivering happiness on them. It's why Amazon bought them for $1 billion. It's why they're hanging flags with his face off the side of the building. I mean, he was so revolutionary at a time when Silicon Valley was focusing so much on tech heavy design and development. That's like, no, I just need happy people on the phones and the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah.
You know, and that fixed a lot of problems. It fixed everything. If you guys wanted to read that together, or the three of us,
What in happiness? I'm sorry, I was trying to write it down.
Delivering happiness.
Delivering happiness. Okay.
There are so many great lessons in there. It's a story, of course, right? But it's the kind of thing where you can read in a couple of days. Between a TSM and a business owner, there's so much fertile ground for development and value-added services there. Between the two of you working together, it gives you just a ton of stuff to get your head around.
I'm excited to now get, the website live, and just, at first I was confused with all the different pieces, but now I'm starting to see it come together. Mm-hmm. So now I'm getting even more excited to see that. And I've heard your name about 20 times. Have you worked with Matt? Have you worked with Matt? No, I haven't. Who's Matt? So
that's me.
But now seeing your side, I think I'm starting to see it come together. So I'm getting excited.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys' time. I'm excited to partner with you as well.